kids never had smartphones until they were in college. Um, and we tried to minimize the amount of time that they were on computers. I knew the risks, but as they were going into middle school, I still had kind of this feeling like, well, they're so young, like they're
Yeah.
not for this stuff yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so best practices are you don't have a computer in a place where you can't see it and the kids have
Right.
access to it.
Yeah.
But honestly, we didn't follow that. And
Yeah.
so one afternoon, I found on the computer downstairs some questionable search terms
Yeah.
where somebody was searching for stuff that they shouldn't have been searching for. And my first reaction was one of the boys' friends
Right.
was over on the computer
Yeah. Yeah.
and trying to get them into trouble. Like
Yeah.
which of
Yeah.
course it can't be my kid.
Yeah.
They're only fifth, sixth grade. Like they can't,
I
they
know.
wouldn't be doing that. Where would they get that idea? And then
And just point of reference, fifth, sixth grade is 10, 11 years old.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So, so factually, intellectually, I know that kids get exposed to it early.
Yeah.
And intellectually, historically, I know that I was in sixth grade when a kid on the playground had a very explicit conversation with me about human sexuality that I wish I hadn't heard, or I wish I had heard it in another way.
Yeah.
But, um, but then emotionally, I'm thinking, well, my kids are so young, and this isn't
Yeah.
like we're being careful ish.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not going to happen. Um, and then I had a conversation with one of my boys and found out that, they're in middle school. Fifth or sixth grade doesn't mean that they're not around seventh and eighth graders, that they're not on the
Oh,
bus. They're hearing
yeah.
all sorts of stuff on the
Yeah.
bus and in the
Yeah.
hallways.
Yeah.
And he was curious.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
found a private moment, and it was him on the computer searching
Yeah.
for stuff, trying to find what he had heard was out there.
Yeah.
Now, it it was interesting because he was young and he was relatively innocent, and his search capabilities were not great.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
I actually followed the searches to see where he wound up, and the damage was minimal. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
What he found was in the big scheme of things, not the worst thing in the world, and it opened the door for a conversation.
Right. Oh, good.
And
Yeah. Okay.
and um I wasn't worried about, like, I wasn't deeply worried about being able to recover from this,
Yeah.
but I was devastated as a father.
Oh, tell me more about
Because
that.
yeah. Well, so I have this conversation with my son, and we talk through it, and I tell him just on a basic, you know, very honest level
Yeah.
that this isn't a path he wants to go down. Definitely
Right.
not I want him to go down, and that we need to work on this together so that this doesn't become a habit or something that he can't get past.
Yeah.
Um, and we agreed to go to confession, which was
Oh,
beautiful.
good. Yeah.
So we went to confession, and I was in line behind him. And of course, you don't know what's shared in the confessional,
Yeah.
but he came out of the confessional looking relieved and
Good.
happy.
Yeah.
And then I went into the confessional and I completely broke down. I sobbed in the confessional that to think that I hadn't protected my kid.
Yeah. Okay.
And I knew how easy it would be, and I hadn't protected. And that was a hard confession for me, just to admit that I had done this, and like I felt negligent. I felt
Yeah.
ashamed as a father that I not able to protect my kid from something that I totally knew the risk of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then after, talked with our priest, left the confessional. And again, like, it wasn't like I left the confessional thinking, oh my gosh, what do I do? Oh, I knew I needed to continue these conversations. I knew
Yeah.
what had helped me was the church and confession, church teachings and confession, and having somebody to keep me accountable.
Yeah. Okay.
So I offered to be his accountability partner. I
Yeah.
said,
Awesome.
you can talk to me at any point about any of this, and I'm not going to get upset with you. I'm going to help you.